Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Susan and Family TV. So, how are you all doing? Hope you are doing great. As for me and my daughter, we are doing super great by His grace, and I wish the same for you all out there. So, beautiful people, today is another interesting, entertaining topic from Susan and Family TV, and the topic says interview. I got it from Google because I do listen to Google. Google do send me, anytime they have news, Google do send me news because I do follow Google in Belgium, in Europe, America, in Africa. Also from Nigeria, Google now send me, news. So I got this news from Google 2 days ago. It says, this is it. This is it. So I'm going to read it to you. It says interview. Six of 10 children in Nigeria brought for DNA testing not fathered by the supposed fathers. Geneticists. Okay, now I continue. From experience, from experience in DNA testing, most firstborns are not fathered by the husbands at home because these ladies have a pre relationship before getting married. Most times they continue with that relationship, they don't leave it after marriage. So let's continue. Then it says Abiodun Saliman is a senior geneticist with DNA Center for Paternity Tests, Allen Avenue in Ikeja, Lagos. For over 10 years, DNA Center has provided comprehensive DNA testing services in three main areas: paternity and other family relationships, immigration, and DNA test during pregnancy. Prenatal DNA test. In this interview with Primo Times, Mr. Abiodun speaks about paternity fraud and the practice of DNA testing in Nigeria. So we continue. There appears to be renewed interest in DNA testing in Nigeria. Why do you think this is happening? So they're asking Salami now. Salami says, well, there are several reasons. The first reason is immigration purposes. Because when you are traveling abroad, you will be required to carry out a DNA test on the kids who would be accompanying you, especially if you say you are the parents. The second reason could be child trafficking. At the airport, if you are a woman, you are traveling with a child less than 6 months, you will be asked to go for a paternity test to confirm you are the mother of the child. So it also says, oh, there is a paternity test too. Then Salima says, yes, we do paternity testing to ascertain the mother of a child. Infidelity in marriage. The third, yeah, he said, yeah, the third reason is a major reason: infidelity. Infidelity in marriage. That is why they do the test, mostly when the children are traveling abroad, for them to know if the parents are really, the parents of the kids. So it says infidelity in marriage. There are, let's continue. Yeah. Okay, there are so many issues online. I mean, we have read and seen cases of fathers raising children that don't belong to them. It has always been like that, sincerely, but because of social media, people cannot share and know what. So we continue. It says, because of social media, people cannot share and we know what is happening. People are getting to know that they can actually do DNA testing to know the father of the child, instead of raising a child for more than 5 6 years only to discover he is not your own. So they ask another question: what was the patronage like at Facility Pro to this renewed awareness? So Salami says, let me give you a statistics. Before now, we do an average of 100 DNA tests in a month, but now we handle as many as 400 cases monthly. So let's continue. So Salami says, the statistics are mind blowing. You discover that almost 60% of the tests that people come to do are negative. In fact, 6 out of every 10 paternity tests turn out negative. Statistically, in DNA paternity testing, most times in Nigeria, we see that 6 out of every 10 children might not be fathered by their biological father. So he also continues saying, yes, but it has also a biased statistic, because for someone to walk in here, he already suspect that there is an issue. There is really a doubt already, and most people won't believe that statistics until it happens to them. I always advise men, it is good to trust, but verify things are happening. If everyone starts doing DNA tests, the whole country will scatter. There will be no marriage again. Most female undergraduates now have one man or two others sponsoring their education aside from their father. These are the men that will eventually be the chairmen at their wedding. These are the men that are actually sleeping with. From experience in DNA testing, most firstborns are not fathered by the husbands at home, because these people have a pre-relationship before getting married. Most times they continue with the relationship, they don't leave it after marriage. So then they ask a question: how could couples how would couples who welcome their kids via assisted reproduction manage privacy, especially when a DNA test is required of them for immigration purpose? Salami says, we had a case of a family that did IVF and used a surrogate mother. When they wanted to travel out, the embassy sent them here to carry out a paternity and the maternity test to discover that they were not the real parents of their babies. We discovered that the fertility clinic they used actually missed the man's sperm. They had triplets. Two children were from the man's sperm cells and one was not from him. The other children were from the mother's cells and one was not from her. They had to go back to the agency to find out what happened. Probably there was a mixture of sperm cells or eggs, but normally, even if they use a surrogate mother, the children will take their DNA from the egg or sperm donor. So it doesn't really matter. So now they ask another question. This means there shouldn't be any form of secrecy in the parents conceived via IVF. For instance, they need to open up to the genetics rights. Then Salami says, yes, they should open up, because we will detect. Normally it should be a perfect match. If you are doing a paternity test for a child and samples taken from both parents, it should have a perfect match. This is because each child will take half of the chromosome from the father and another half from the mother. If there is a mismatch, there is a problem. Now, if we are having a perfect match for the father and an almost imperfect match from the mother, we will ask questions. So it continues, beautiful people. Most times, most times when a woman is gest- gestational career, she holds the egg. But in rare cases, when fluid passes through the uterus, I mean the fallopian tube, there is a mixture of blood going through the mother of the baby. And when there is a mixture, some parts of the DNA of the gestational mother will go into the baby, just a few. So when there is a mismatch, we know it was an IV that occurred. So now Salami says, cases where couples that have been trying to conceive for Yes, then go where they tell them they can get them baby. They pay. The mother will tell them the sex she wants. In cases, they inject a sex hormone into the woman, and they tell them not to go for a scan. Eventually, when they give birth, they come for a test. We discover that the husband or wife does not own the child. So she feels she is actually pregnant because she exhibits all the signs of pregnancy, and they will be the ones to tell her she is due. But when she wakes up, she see a baby. The people claiming to cut off the umbilical cord from her, whereas it's another baby they brought from the labor room. So when so we continue, beautiful people. So when we do a maternity test, we discover that the baby is not here. So we tell them to go back and tell the child is not theirs. So we have seen cases like that. This is what we call cryptic pregnancy. So they ask another question: what is the craziest you have experienced? Salami says, a lot. Let me see. We have had cases where two men fight over a child. They were childless couple before the woman got pregnant for the childhood boyfriend. She gave birth to twins boys who incidentally looked a lot like her husband, but the man outside was presuming her to bring the children, saying he was ready to marry her. It became a big issue when it came to the issue of child custody. The court brought them to test, and we discovered that the man at home and her childhood boyfriend were not even the father of the child. Jesus. Can a mistake occur? Now, another question. Can a mistake occur during DNA testing? Yeah, this is very important. Can a mistake occur? Because sometimes in Nigeria, people think that DNA test some is not true. So now they're asking Mr. Salami question: can a mistake occur during DNA testing? This is important, beautiful people. Let's listen. So Salami says it is possible to make human error. Yeah, it is possible, especially when there is a mix up with the sample. You see, the, especially when there is a mix up with the sample, it is, especially when there's a mix up with the sample, it is possible with human error. That is a human error, but it is not rare. But there are also cases where we have Shimara's syndrome, but it is also rare. This is when a woman DNA does not match that of a child. It is very rare, probably one in a million cases. Okay, that is nice to hear. So now, read also Ekiti. Ekiti decides materials arrive late in the adult coat. Okay, now they ask another question. How much does it cost to undergo a DNA test? Please take us through the process. Salami says it costs about 60,000 per person, which is about 120 for father and child. We use different samples. 120,000 naira for father and child. For one person is 60,000 naira. So it says we use different samples like the mud swamp, hair, blood, wax, sweat, chewing gum, toothbrush. But the best is the mouth swab, which you use, which we just use cotton wool. It is those locks cells from the mouth that will extract the DNA from the nucleus of those cells. Once the DNA are extracted, we then compare the genetics. As a human being, we inherit half of the genus from my father and another half from my mother. So what we do is to compare half of my father's DNA with half of mine, and there must be a complete match. If there is a complete match, then the probability of paternity is about 99%. 99%. If there is a mismatch in one or two other three places, it will automatically come down to zero. That means we are not related. The results are ready within a week or at least 7 working days. So another question: do you couples before carrying out the DNA test. Salami say yes, we do that a lot. Even post testing, when the result comes, we see some men crying, saying that they have made a mistake by taking care of a child because he thought it wasn't it. Some men also break down when they discover that he has been raising another man's child. In works, men, the wives isn't remorseful. We have seen a lot. We consult, there have been cases when a man will come for a DNA test and the result comes out negative. And after looks of talk and counsel, the wife insists that she didn't have any extra marital affair. We then conducted a maternity test and discovered that the woman was also not the mother of that child. We then ruled out infidelity and realized that the baby was switched at the hospital shortly after birth. Wow. Most times this occurs when the wrong name tag is put on the child. So, beautiful people, hope you love this topic. So, if you want to see the continuation of this video, I have something to go and do now. It's very important, you know. If you want to see the continuation of this topic, please comment below, write something that you want to see the continuation, and by God's grace I will do the continuation of this topic. So, beautiful people, what I'm trying to say, that things are happening, you know. The more we look YouTube, the more we see that things are happening. So I wrote sometimes, I wrote some few points. I said sometimes it might be that a woman, when a woman is not sure of her monthly cycle, you know, before she meets a man, you know, maybe before she say, oh, she wants to settle to get married, just like what we have read now, she's not sure of her monthly cycle, that, you know, she didn't do a checkup like testing, pregnant test. Now, thank God that pregnant test can be found even bought in the supermarket, in the pharmacy. You don't need that you must go to the doctor, you know. So to be avoiding all these kind of things, it will be good before women go into marriage, let them try to do, you know, a pregnant test for them to be sure. And even before they will start to sleep, you know, with their, so, you know, their husband to be, let it be like 2 to 3 months, 4 months, you know, let them be really sure after the pregnancy test that they are not pregnant, to avoid all these kind of things, you know. So I also wrote, telling the truth if you were pregnant before starting another relationship. Yeah, beautiful people, if you were pregnant before and you don't want to do abortion, it is very good. When you meet, maybe you were pregnant with a man who didn't accept your baby, and you now meet a man who wants you, who love you, who cherish you, it's good for you to say the truth to the man. Let the man know that, oh, you are pregnant, but you don't want to do abortion. If the man wants it that way, you know, he will accept the child, knowing already fully in him that he's fathering a child that is not biological his, but because he loves you, he accepts, you know, the child to be his, you know. So I also says care and support from men. So sometimes you see that this men, sometimes men, they don't care for their women, they don't care, they don't support their women. Sometimes you see that these women, they don't have, you know, they don't have option. Maybe when they don't have enough income, you know, they are sleeping, you know, with their husband or their man in their life they have relationship with already, and they will have extra, you know, extra relationship elsewhere with other men, rich men, you know, that are, you know, giving them money. At the end of it, they will be sleeping with these men outside that are giving them money. They'll be sleeping with the men in their, that they live together with, that are, you know, that are in the house with them. At the end of it, when she gets pregnant, beautiful people, there is no way she's going to know who is the father. Either is the man in the home that is the father, or the rich man outside that is giving her the money. So by God's grace, we are going to do the continuation of this video. Please try and subscribe, and do share this video so that you can see the continuation of this video. And please do share, subscribe. See you in our next video by His grace. If you want to see the continuation, you love this topic, free comment below. I will do the continuation by God's grace. See you in our next video by His grace. We love you. Bye.